quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog. It's where we all begin. Welcome to Lazy Dog Typewriters.
The Dark Tower was an electronic board game that came out in the Dark Ages, way back when Dad was my age. I know, I can't believe it either. Anyway, the Dark Tower was the coolest thing ever in 1981. Players would battle enemies as they travel around the game board, fighting to get the keys to enter the Dark Tower. The Dark Tower went dark almost immediately after it was released. Cancelled due to the fact Milton Bradley ripped off the game designers. Dad never, ever got to play with the Dark Tower, but now he has something even better. 2 towers! Shall we play a game? I don't get the reference, but Dad insists it's funny.
Howdy folks, and welcome to the Lazy Dog Typewriters, where today we have a terrific twosome of tower typewriters. The Tower Tabulator. Wow, that's a lot of T's, but they are terrific and they are worth it. These machines were made for a very limited time, in fact, only a single year in 1960. And they are really special versions of the Smith Corona 5 series typewriters. And even more interestingly, we don't really seem to know what the color choices are called. In fact, I have never seen what I am calling a salmon or light pink tower tabulator before. So I'm sure they're out there, but they must be more uncommon. The more common of the already rare typewriter is this grayish color tower tabulator, which we have here on the right. But both of them are just really nice examples of Series 5 Smith Corona machines sold by Sears under its Tower brand. And this was right at the end before Sears became more brand aware, I guess, and focused their typewriters under their own name. It became Sears Tower and then finally just straight up Sears, where they had shifted their brand identity to just Sears and got rid of their sub-brands. I'm not sure how much longer it took JCPenney and others to step away from their brands. Pencrest, Wedgfield was Kmart, Signature was Montgomery Ward. It's kind of a curious thing. Maybe Ted Monk would know and we can find out. But let's go looking at these machines a little bit more. We'll start out with the cases because those two are somewhat different. These are your classic holiday cases, and the salmon-colored machine has appropriately sort of a salmon-colored case. It's a tweed, hard metal Samsonite case with a nice Bakelite or plastic handle. And this is the literal holiday case, as we see right here with this indicator. This is how you release the typewriter from its case, by pushing forward on this arrow. And there is a metal infrastructure inside which holds the typewriter in place, and which itself can be removed, allowing you to use your typewriter suitcase as a suitcase. Similarly over here, this Tower Tabulator in more of a gray has an appropriately gray case, so they kind of did a job of matching those. This one has a black handle on its case. It's a little less common, and I think this is probably the original interior color. It's darkened a little bit over the decades, I would say. That's probably more what it used to look like on the brand new. So pretty cool, and it has a pretty nifty, it came to us with its original carrying case paraphernalia. So I'll take a little pause and take it out of its bag and take a look at that little piece of ephemera. Alright, so this is the little pamphlet that came with your typewriter, the new Sears New Tower carrying case, new beauty and styling, new ease of handling, new all-around satisfaction. Very nice. It delivers a lot of things. It just gives you basic instructions on how to remove the typewriter from the case. You push the buttons, how to put it back in, centering the carriage, and that's worth mentioning too. How do you center the carriage on these old machines? Well, there is a carriage centering lever right here, and if you lift up on it appropriately enough, it centers the carriage so that the case should close without rubbing on the edges of the carriage. And also, one of the nicer things it does when you center that carriage is it disengages the carriage rack, which is a toothed rail on the underside of the carriage, which engages with the star wheel and the escapement. And that's good for shipping so that there's no accidental force put on those teeth, shearing them off and damaging permanently your typewriter. So, just an overview of the cases, what they look like, and then we'll give you a more in-depth look at this salmon pink one and show you what it really is all about as a typing machine. Alright, just taking a quick overview of this machine. It is a Series 5 typewriter, but it has a late Series 5 lid. This is the same lid which is on the 5AX Sterling models, which were made from about 1961 to 1964. So they had apparently shifted already production at Smith Corona to that new sort of flattened ribbon cover lid, if you will. Obviously, the most dramatic feature about this stylistically is the tower logo and script and the atomic logo, which to me is reminiscent of some electrons spinning around, but is also an S and an R, Sears Roebuck stylized. I like the atoms connotation a lot more. The keys themselves, I have not yet transitioned to the white keys of the 5AX Sterling. You still retain the cream colored keys of the Silent Super, the Desert Tan Silent Super. Desert Sand, I should say. And just everything magnificent about the Model 5 series. So lightweight, segment shift, very simple to use. This is your ribbon reverse, manual ribbon reverse if your automatic ribbon reverse doesn't trip. You have your line color selector here, red, white, and black, white being stencil, red being the lower portion, blue being or black being the upper portion. MR's margin release tab. Now, this thing is called a tabulator, right? So that's one of its main features. So if you disengage the carriage centering, if we press our tabs, we go to our tab stops. And what's notable about this particular machine is, unlike the 5 Silent Super model, this still retains a somewhat older tab mechanism. So in this case, you have a literal physical tab stops here, which can be removed. And they look like little paper clips, and you just slide them where you want your tabs to be. Very simple, very visual and tactile, and you can see where your tabs are going to be. So this is your margins, which are just press and slide to set your margins, very traditional. You've got your line selector, 1, 2, 3, 2, 1. On the side you've got metal carriage release levers, and these this is one of the last machines to have this, the 5AX. After that, they started going to the Galaxy body style, and we replaced these with plastic, which everyone kind of hates because they break. But there is a solution for 3D printing them, and that's the good news. And of course, in the back, we have a Tower logo on the back. This machine has a Pica typeface, which I think you had a choice of Pica or Elite. I'm not sure that the tabulator came in script. In fact, I'm pretty sure it did not. Opening up the hood, making sure not to hit the carriage return. You can see your standard Model 5. Interior, we have a touch control selector here from high to low. This one is still quite stiff on the spring, which is good. It regulates a spring which controls the tension you feel when you type to greater or lesser degrees depending on the machine, the condition of the spring, etc. Alright, so let's go ahead and set us up for a typing test and a quick conclusion to this quick overview. Putting our paper in. We don't have a paper guide, and one thing that has changed is there used to be paper fingers in the early Model 5 series, but now we just have simply a paper bail. Let's go ahead and give our typing test. Quick, round and pop, jumps over the lazy dog. Where we all begin. 407 years ago, our fathers brought forth onto this continent a new nation. A little bit of the Gettysburg Address. You know, it's kind of appropriate because there just really is nothing more classic to me than a Smith Corona Model 5 typewriter. It might simply be the very best all-around typewriter that we can find here in the United States. Very comfortable, smooth typing action, very reliable, very easy to work on, very accessible as you can see here. The escapement is easy to access and to adjust. It's just a wonderful machine. They have wonderful bells. Every once in a while the bells are a little bit out of position, so you don't get a nice resonant tone, but you can fix that. Just all around great machines. And if you have the opportunity to get one, the Silent Super is probably the best of the Model 5s, but to my mind, the 5AX is the very next best. It's the continuation, in fact, a little bit better than the Silent Super. But if I had a choice and I could only have one Model 5, I think I would make it one of these Tower tabulators. You do give up the ability to have a key set tabulator with a press on the keyboard to give up the ability to press here to set your tab. But I don't find that to be a big loss. And in fact, I kind of like setting a literal tab in the back of my tab rack. There's so much to like and so little not to like about these machines. If you ever have an opportunity, I always like the Tower branded machines. They, for some reason, seem to have enhanced the Smith Corona baseline offerings in every one that they touched. This has been just a quick overview because this machine is going out. Again, I wanted to show it to you in a somewhat rare salmon coloring, and I hope you've enjoyed it and had yourselves have a great day. Thanks.
The Dark Tower returns July 2021. Please like, subscribe, and share, and hit the bell button.